My name is Dillon Porter. I'm the assistant for the women's tennis team. I'm from Hawaii. And let's just quickly go around and introduce ourselves, maybe like 30 seconds. Just your name, where you're from, and your favorite thing about BYU. Let's start with Helen.
Okay, I'll go first. My name is Helen Jiao. Okay, that's not my real name. So I'm from China, and my Chinese name is Jiao Yijia. You don't have to remember that. But yeah, I'm on campus right now, and I love everything about BYU. People are really nice, and yes, the favorite thing, it's the team. Yeah, that's the best.
Okay. David?
Hey everyone, my name is David. I'm from Palo Alto, California. So I'm just here back in California today. I'm a senior, so I actually just graduated from BYU, figuring out kind of what's next and all this craziness. I'd say my favorite thing about BYU and being an athlete at BYU is just the resources, the people we get to meet, the athletes and coaches you get to be associated with. It's second to none. So it's been a great couple of years.
Nice. Leah?
Hi, my name is Leah Himuli. I'm from Highland, Utah, and I'm a redshirt junior. And my favorite thing about BYU would probably be the culture. Like what David said with the people and also like the team.
Nice. Sam?
Yeah, so I just graduated like David, but actually just got accepted into the MAC program, so I'm going to be back for another year, which is kind of sick.
Huge.
Yeah, and I guess if we're going off what our favorite thing about BYU is, I don't know, I love the team, and I love how well you're kind of taken care of at the school. They really treat you well. So
Nice. Aiden?
Hi guys, my name is Aiden Carrazedo. From Johannesburg, South Africa. Apologize if my connection's not great. I'm struggling with Wi-Fi, but I'm the assistant coach for the men's tennis team. I'm in my third year as the assistant. I played at BYU. I think BYU is just a great environment. The people that surround you are special, and it just helps you be a better person in all aspects of your life. And I'm really grateful to be a part of it.
Nice. And then Holly, I mean, who doesn't know you? Everybody knows Holly, but Holly can introduce yourself.
I doubt it. Well, I'm going on about 2 years as the head coach of the women's team here at BYU. And I was actually the assistant for about 7 years and then took a 10-year break to just be a busy mom and have kids. And it's super fun being back into the competitive side of the game. You can hear from my voice, I've been coaching and teaching a ton, and I just love being back on the court, and especially just the team culture that we are creating at BYU, and just becoming a family so that we can achieve greatness together. It's really fun.
Great. Well, just real quick, I want to kind of go over some things that a beginner can do to learn tennis, as well as what you guys have been doing to stay in tennis shape during the quarantine. So why don't we ask Sam what you've been up to during the quarantine to stay in tennis shape?
I don't know if I'm the right person to ask that question. I honestly probably haven't been doing as much as I should have been, which means basically nothing.
Or what could you do to stay in tennis shape during the quarantine?
But yeah, I mean, I have been hitting, not as much as I probably should or could, but I have been hitting quite a bit, and that's been good. But I think honestly, the biggest thing is to just stay active, because I feel like for me at least, like when I'm just sitting a lot, not doing anything, coming back is really, really hard. But if I've been away from tennis, but I'm still getting out and being pretty active, I guess it doesn't really matter as much what you're doing as long as you're staying active. Coming back is a whole lot easier for me. So, and whether you're able to play tennis, great. If not, you know, some people aren't. So I guess.
Nice.
Active.
And Holly, you're the best coach of us all. You know, if somebody's just starting out playing, what are some key, you know, tips that they can do just barely beginning and they want to get into tennis?
Barely beginning. You know, the best thing about tennis is it's a sport that you can play your whole life and no matter what level. And, you know, barely beginning, I recommend always starting close in the court, like service line to service line, and just keeping a really short backswing, watching the ball at contact, keeping it in front, and really just trying to count how many you can keep back and forth with your partner. And if you get to 5, then your goal is to get to 7. If you get to 7, your goal is to get to 15. And I think one of the most important things that has really worked with my kids and the beginners that I've taught is teaching them that hard is good, but in is better. Because tennis is one of those sports that looks really easy. But then when you actually get out there and try to play on your own, you realize that the footwork along with the hand-eye coordination, the combination of the two can make it a little bit tricky. And so if you don't worry about how hard you're hitting the ball, but just try to focus on keeping the control, that generally makes it so that in the long run, when you do get better, it's easier to pick up the pace as you can feel the consistency first.
I like that. Thanks, Holly. Okay, we have some questions coming in. I'm just gonna to dish them out. We have a question about the best tips for a serve for a beginner and an intermediate. Aiden, you want to give that a shot?
Definitely. I think for a beginner, I think to kind of echo what Holly said, just keeping it simple, you know, getting that ball toss up and trying to get it in the box, not focusing on too many things technical, but just keeping things simple, finding a way to get in that box. And then as you kind of move along and kind of intermediates, looking for ways to kind of differentiate your serve, bring in the slice or the kick or the flat serve, so you can change it up a bit and not just do the same serve over and over.
Nice. Okay, Leah, you want to tell us about some of your between point rituals?
Sure. Okay. So tennis is a really mental sport, and so it's really easy to get down on yourself. So something that's really helped me over the years is to take a deep breath. No matter like if you just hit a winner or if you just made a mistake, just like taking that moment to kind of reset and like refocus really has helped me. And then also just to kind of like fix your strings, I think a lot of people do that, but that kind of just helps me kind of narrow my focus instead of thinking about so many things. You just kind of are playing in the moment instead of being distracted by everything.
Nice. Sorry, I was on mute. Okay, David, I have a question for you. You're a senior, you've graduated. What are some things that you wished you learned or had improved as a junior now that you've finished your career and everything, things that you wish you focused on as a junior versus a college player?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think at the college level, the game is a little bit different. You know, it's faster, it's stronger. I think in junior tennis, there is a little bit of people are mentally weaker, so it's just about kind of getting balls in and winning. I think something from a very technical standpoint is I think it's really good to have a weapon as you enter college tennis, or if you're going to be playing at any level, you know, high school, whatever it is, whether that's a serve, you can get some free points at, or a big forehand. So I think it's important. You've got to have a well-rounded game. You know, you got to make sure you're hitting a lot of balls, hitting a lot of, you know, getting all your strokes well. But I think you start to reach a level where everyone can stroke the ball pretty well. What differentiates, you know, a good player from a great player is like a Sam Tolis serve, something that's a weapon that, you know, you can kind of go from, hey, we reach a level, again, whether it's high school, college, professional, where everyone's really good. So, you know, trying to figure out what is it that I'm really good at, what is it that I do well, and then making that a strength and a weapon to differentiate yourself.
Great, I like that. Thanks. Helen, how did you get into tennis? Was it by choice, or did your parents encourage it, or was it your friends? How did you first start getting into tennis?
Okay, so I first started tennis because my dad he loves sports and he's into volleyball and soccer and
我在
swim.
Apple Music 或你的资料库中找不到。
Sorry guys, I don't know. Okay, so keep going. Yeah, so he's really into sports and he just want me to play a sport. And I think he just feel like tennis is not that brutal. Like football, you have to like push each other, and so he just chose tennis for me. And I really hate tennis when I first started. Like he will just force me to do like everything I don't want to, and whenever I don't want to hit, he'll just force me to go on the court and just hit the ball. But like as the times goes on, and I feel like tennis it's like become a part of my life, and I really love it. And especially now I'm in college, and like the teammates, coaches just makes me feel like, okay, tennis is a thing I love. Yeah, that's how.
Nice. Okay, we've had several questions about what a player needs to do in order to make that step into if they want to play college tennis. So maybe I'll let Holly answer this. Maybe what are you looking for in a recruit? What can someone do as a junior player to be seen by coaches and so forth?
Okay, yeah, a couple of the things. I would say the first is that it's really important for high school players to make sure that they play as many sectional and national events that they can, so that they can establish a ranking and try to increase their UTR. We do look at UTR, which is your universal tennis rating, but mostly we use that as a guide for level based on how you compete against other players with a similar UTR rating or a higher UTR rating or even a lower UTR rating. And we like to see consistency kind of based on where you're at. We usually always ask for, we like to see players in person for sure, but if we can't, we always ask for video footage. And a couple of the things that we look for in video footage, I would say probably the number one thing that we look at is footwork. We feel like somebody that runs for every ball and has learned how to play open stance for quicker recovery. We feel like technique-wise, if there's little technical things, we can work with that and fix that, but that footwork is just essential for the top level players because, as David said earlier, most college players can play 100 great ground strokes in a row from the baseline. And if you can combine that with a weapon and also great footwork, I feel like it makes your coachability much easier for us to be able to help you to construct points and to learn how to dominate versus opponents that are equally your same level.
I like that. That's great. Aiden, any tips on staying focused during a match? Not thinking too much of the future or the outcome or the score or your opponent, things like that. What are some tips on how can a player can stay focused?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think I think as Leah said, I think tennis is it's a very big on the mental side, and we talk with our guys a lot about staying in the present. You know, not thinking about the previous point. Matches are really long, you know, a couple hours. There's a lots of ups and downs. We really try to talk with our guys about staying, you know, staying constant, staying even keeled, so our guys can just keep a good head on their shoulders, and just riding out waves of momentum. It's up and down, but eventually with our guys, if you stay solid, you'll be there at the end of the match. So just focusing on the present and just focusing on yourselves and controlling what you can control. That's what we focus on.
Dillon, can I add something?
Go ahead.
So what I will do is to have a routine, like for example, it's during the point. So there are 20 seconds. So the first 5 seconds, I'll like let myself, for example, I hit a good shot and I'll say, come on. Or if I just hit a bad shot, I'll say, oh, that's stupid. But just for 5 seconds and other 5 seconds, and I'll just take some deep breath and just calm myself down. And the next 5 seconds, I'll kind of think about a plan I have, like where do I want to return, or where do I want to serve, and where did the ball go after the first serve. And so the last 5 seconds, I'll just kind of walk back to the court and just to get ready for the next point. And I think it's really important to keep this during, like to stay focused during practice. Like how do you expect yourself to stay focused during match if you don't do it like during practice? So I think that's really important.
Nice, thanks Aiden and Helen. Holly and Aiden can answer this best, but are there any tryouts for if somebody just wants to try out? A lot of sports, they have tryouts and they have walk-ons and they have students that want to join the team. Do you guys do that, and what are you guys looking for when you do have tryouts?
I'll go for it first. I think it just kind of depends on our roster numbers for us. I mean, obviously every year we have a set roster number that we have to stick to, and obviously scholarship that accompanies that. So I think it kind of just depends when we start the school year in the fall of the guys that are showed up on campus, how many we have and how many we allowed. I think the last couple of years we've been pretty full on our team, so we really haven't done any sort of tryouts. And I kind of, for this next year, it's kind of, we're not kind of sure yet what we're going to do, but we haven't kind of done that in the past, but we just have to kind of see with our roster numbers and how things start up in the fall and how we're looking and go from there.
Nice. Holly?
That's pretty much the same on the women's side. Two falls ago, we did hold an open tryout just at the beginning of the school year. And if anyone is interested, they would just need to reach out to myself or to Dillon and just kind of find out if that's something that we're going to do. It really just completely depends on roster numbers. With the situation of seniors being able to return, along with the team members that we already had planned on coming this fall, it does not look like we will be holding an open tryout this year. We don't have space, and we'll be carrying probably more than we were planning. But I feel like every year is different, and you just never know with injuries and people's plans that are changing. It could happen, I'd say any semester. So just if anyone's interested, just definitely reach out to us as coaches.
I like that. Leah, I have a question for you. So Leah has played at 3 different schools. And so maybe she can tell us about, through her experience, what contributes to a good team atmosphere, a successful team, or a good college experience.
Yeah, okay. I played 1 year at BYU Hawaii my freshman year, and then I was at the University of Utah actually for 2 years. And I redshirted 1, and then now I'm at BYU. I have loved different things about all of the teams that I've been on. One thing is team culture. I've realized is super important to kind of have that family kind of feeling where you just feel supported and you feel like you're all in it together. And also coaching, I've realized is huge. To be in like a specific conference is great, but to kind of, you want to go somewhere where you really know that you'll thrive and kind of improve yourself in like different aspects, not just athletically, but also like academically. So I feel like with all of the different colleges I've been at, I've been able to have like a really cool experience and kind of story, but it's all kind of played out the way it should. Like looking back, it's kind of like, it's never what you expect. So I think it's hard to kind of plan your future in high school, but if you just work hard and kind of stick with it, then it'll all work out.
Nice. I like that. Sam, there's a rumor around that you have an interesting between-game snack. What are some things that tennis players can nibble on or snack on to stay fueled during a match?
Well, for me, it's Uncrustables.
Okay, nice.
To the point where I don't really like them outside of the tennis court. But I mean, for me, I have hypoglycemia, which just means if I don't eat, my blood sugar gets really low. It's really not that big of a deal, but on court I do have to eat, otherwise it goes from bad to worse real quick. So I tend to, I eat a lot because it's it's the only way I can, keep my energy up. So I generally eat like granola bars, fruit snacks, Uncrustables, just about anything that if you eat too much of it makes your stomach sick but gives you quick energy. So I don't really know. Maybe I do try and mix like a lot of the sugar stuff with something like a sandwich that's a little more substantial, so that if like the match goes like really long, I don't get, I don't just fall off a cliff towards the end energy wise. Hopefully that made sense.
Nice. Yeah, kind of. No, good job. David, you want to talk a little bit about equipment? Tennis players have these big, humongous bags, like what's in there, and there's lots of different brand rackets. What do you use, and what would you suggest someone playing, a junior player, to use?
Yeah, definitely. So I think, the biggest thing is the tennis racket, obviously. There's so many different, types of rackets. So I think it kind of goes back to when you're choosing a racket, what are you looking for specifically? Are you a player that's just going to go for hours without ever missing a ball and you want some control? Do you want something with a little more power? For most of my career, I was more of kind of a control guy. And so my senior year, I switched to a Babolat, a more powerful racket that, would kind of help my game, take a step in my game. But I think, again, it's nice, it's fun as a tennis player to think about, what makes me as a player, what's kind of my thing. So that includes in terms of equipment, like grips, do your hands sweat a lot? Like me, you need kind of a tackier, stickier grip. What type of string? Are you looking for some more spin on when you hit, because you hit a little flatter? So I think what's really fun about tennis, which is maybe unique to other sports, is you can kind of pick and choose different types of equipment that's going to make you. And I think the more kind of comfortable you are with your game and, with the shoes, are you going lighter shoes? Are you going kind of thicker shoes because you like to slide around the string, the grips, the rackets, whatever it is? Tennis is really fun because you kind of get to customize yourself. So I think there's, the bags are big because you break a lot of strings when you play a lot, so you've got to be ready. But it's definitely fun. If you don't know where you're at, talk to a coach, talk to Dillon or Holly or Aiden about, what would be kind of a good racket for me, because it's a fun process.
Nice. I like that. Helen, has tennis gotten harder or easier during quarantine, or, now that you've, started hitting again, because I know that you've started hitting again, what do you feel like is difficult coming back after taking a couple months off? And then how do you get back to your playing level?
So I've been doing the workout every day. So my body feels great. Just every time I hit, the ball kind of just flies everywhere. So I would say it's getting harder. Like especially every time when I try to play the ball and like the adjustment and your footwork is just getting like a little bit weird. But I would say if you do your do your conditioning every day. So for example, I run to the track 10 laps every day. So actually it feels really good to just keep your body like in shape, and it will get better once you start playing like a lot.
Nice. Okay. We're running low on time. Last question for the coaches, for the fans that follow the teams, kind of what to expect moving on this next year, new faces that we might see. I know Sam graduated, but he said he's coming back. What the team is going to be looking like next year for the fans to get excited about. Go ahead, Holly.
Yeah, I'll go first. So we have 2 seniors that were on our team this season that didn't get to finish. And neither have actually made their official decision yet as to whether they will be returning. So that's kind of a little bit up in the air. You know, it's difficult when they love tennis and they've kind of had a path that they felt like they were on, but then this kind of hit really quickly. And so they're just trying to just kind of see if that's the direction that they want to go and if their bodies can hold up for another year. But we do have 4 committed new players that will definitely be coming. So we'll have a fairly young team. We have 2 scholarship players, one coming from Hong Kong. Her name is Cara, and we're hoping to be able to get her here through all of this if things settle down. But she's really excited. She's going to be taking summer term online, and then hopefully we'll be coming for fall. And then we have a transfer student as well from China who actually is good friends with Helen. So that will be really fun. She was hoping to come last year, and it didn't end up working out for her to come Division 1. And now she's going to be able to come as a transfer student. So that will be great. We're excited to get her. And then we have actually Sam's little sister will be joining the team, which we're super excited about. And that's actually super great news, because how fun will that be for them to be able to play a year together? So that's awesome. And they're just from Centerville, which is really close. And I've known Bitsy forever, and I'm super excited for her to get to actually be a part of the team that she's heard so much about. And then we also have another preferred walk-on that's coming from Gainesville, Florida, and just a really solid, consistent, steady player who I think has been in Florida most of her life and actually trains with a coach that I actually knew growing up. So we kind of have a connection there. And all of the girls have already been talking and making connections and just getting to know each other through Zoom and FaceTime. And so I'm super excited about actually how many we're going to have, and just praying for a healthy team this year. So
I'm excited too. That was great. Aiden, take it away.
Yeah, I think with us, kind of in a similar situation to Holly and the women's team, we had 3 seniors who were huge for us, Sean Hill, Sam Tullis, and David Ball. It looks like Sean and Sam are going to be coming back. I think Dave's moving on, and we're going to miss him. He's been the team captain for the last couple of years, been a huge part of our success, and we'll miss him dearly. And then Sam and Sean, I think, are going to further their studies, which is great for us. And then in terms of freshmen coming in, We have 3 new guys coming in, all from the US. We have Brigham Andrews coming in from Argentina. He's coming in. He just got back from his mission in Argentina, state champion, #1 guy in Utah. He'll be huge for us. He'll join the team with his brother Brockton, who's on the team. And then we have 2 freshmen, Dominic Jacko, Washington, top 50 guy in the country, a very good player. And then Alex Lynn, another top 50 guy from Sacramento, California. All 3 of these guys love BYU, and we just can't wait for them to get started. So I think we're going to have a good mix of young guys and some veteran guys, and with great schedule. And we're just hoping things, clear up and things get better, so we can get the guys on campus in the fall and get to work. But we're really excited where things are going.
Nice. I hope things get back to normal soon. But thank you for all participating. We're out of time. For those that want to stay up to date with the teams, I think Instagram is the best option. People are posting and the news is accurate on there. If you have questions for any of the coaches, you can find our emails on our website and you can email us questions. But other than that, thanks for joining. Thanks for asking questions and participating, and stay safe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.